From Burlington, Ontario, Canada. Welcome to the GCN show. Woo!
Hello and welcome to the GCN show.
Coming up this week, what power do you need to win the Tour de France? And are Pogačar and Vingegaard going faster than ever?
We've got all the data to explain.
Yes, we've also got a saddle made from paper, an $8,000 bike inspired by a Toyota Land Cruiser, Manon in training, and Hank in a Lamborghini.
This week in the world of cycling, we learned that today Pogačar is human after all. He couldn't quite respond to every attack Jumbo-Visma threw at him. The big question now, though, is can he recover the lost ground and his lost jersey?
Yeah, we also learned how to carry a bike in a Lamborghini, thanks to Hank. Just the only way to take this bike.
We all need to know how to do that. Unfortunately, this technique, though, there's no room to have a friend along for the drive as well, although that's not generally a problem for him, is it?
No, not really. We also learned that Jasper Philipsen's victory celebration is slightly more muted than when he finishes second.
We learned that it's illegal to ride a bike out of the saddle in Indiana, according to state legislation and the WKDQ radio station.
And we also learned that Connor is not actually the world's largest cyclist. That honour has been taken by Big Ben in Sparta, Wisconsin, who at 32 feet tall atop his penny farthing has now officially been ratified as the biggest.
Sparta apparently bills itself as the cycling capital of the world, and I don't have any clue why. If you know, answers on a postcard or via the comment section down below.
Yeah, now many of you will already know this year's Tour de France is shaping up to be one of the best ever.
It's already one of the best ever. Make sure you take full advantage of GCN Plus showing every kilometre of every stage.
That's it, it's time consuming but worthwhile. One of the things that has been apparent from the race so far though is that the riders are going insanely fast. It looks utterly savage, doesn't it?
It also looks like it's faster than ever, but is it? How much power does it take? And how does it compare?
Well, fortunately, there is no end to the amount of data at our fingertips these days, so we can actually tell you. Firstly, the overall average speeds of the Tour are indeed getting faster and faster. Now, we won't know exactly how fast until the end, of course, but training, aero equipment, and also different tactics have all been playing their part over the last few years.
The average speed of the race, though, doesn't tell us all that much, though. While the yellow jersey is worn by the rider who has the fastest overall time and therefore also overall speed, really, the difference is only made in the time trial stages, or more importantly these days, the climbs.
Yeah, it's here when we dive in, see just how incredible Vingegaard and Pogačar have been. Nijaka Cycling on Twitter is a fount of all knowledge on the subject and has been crunching the numbers.
Firstly, in a post on Lantern Rouge, we see that the pair posted the fastest time up outdoors for nearly 20 years, despite a fair bit of messing around too in the final kilometres.
Yeah, and what's even more impressive is their time for the climb to the stage finish in Mons. So that was 3 kilometres at over 10%. The fastest ever time is Marco Pantani with 8 minutes 58 seconds, 1 second ahead of Miguel Indurain and Bjarne Riis.
Some of the most famous and infamous cyclists of all time, and yet they were just 6 seconds ahead of Pogačar and Vingegaard.
That's incredible, isn't it? Now, estimations of their power this year suggest they were doing about 7.36 watts per kilo. And to put that in context, that's me riding at 552 watts for 10 minutes, and Connor is a bit taller, 657 watts.
On outdoors, the numbers are similarly massive. Sepp Kuss was just at 6.08 watts a kilo, 371 watts at 62 kilograms.
Yeah, now for some, the spectre of doping will always hang over cycling. And so you might be listening to this with some degree of cynicism, but it is worth saying that over the last 30 years, whilst EPO has come and gone, so much has evolved and improved in cycling that could account for this improved performance.
Yeah, training is light years ahead. In 1995, Indurain and Pantani wouldn't have had the benefit of training with power meters.
No, for a start. Also, those guys weren't altitude training.
But they also spent way more time in nightclubs too.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure Pogačar and Pidcock aren't old enough to go to nightclubs, are they?
Yeah, I doubt they've ever been to one, actually.
No.
Nutrition is in a different league too. They fuel better, both on and off the bike.
Yeah, and equipment has also come on in leaps and bounds. So bikes might not be lighter than they were in the early 2000s, but tyres roll faster, bearings are smoother, frames are stiffer, chain lever is better, aero is a thing on bikes and clothing. And at their climbing speeds, it matters, particularly at the powers they put out. Plus, also their legs are saved on the way to the climbs as well.
But to really put it into context, according to Matthew O'Reilly on Twitter, the times from the top guys from this year in outdoors were only just inside the top 20 of the fastest times ever.
The 17 ahead of them were all from 1995 to 2006, and the outright record was Marco Pantani with a comedic 36 minutes 50 seconds, 2 minutes and 20 seconds faster than the current one.
But for the ultimate reality check, remember to doff your cap to cycling uber villain Bjarne Riis, who on Thursday this week on the final summit finish of the race up to the Pyrenean ski resort of Hotekam, his performance there in 1996 to win that year's race is the fastest, best climb of all time, averaging 6.88 watts a kilo for 34 minutes and 41 seconds.
Mental, isn't it? Right, now, one question that we have been mulling over after Froome rode to a really spectacular third place on that outdoor stage, a proper heartwarming comeback, I think, is whether or not Froome, in his pomp, at his best, could beat or challenge Pogačar and Vingegaard this year.
See, I've been toing and froing about my answer to this all day.
Go on.
And I don't think he could. I don't think so. I just think Vingegaard at the moment is just looking so strong, stronger than Pogačar. And I just couldn't see Froome dropping Vingegaard at the moment. I mean, at the moment, he's just marking Pogačar like on outdoors, for example, and on the climb to Manon. Would he be able to go faster if he really wanted to attack, if he had enough time to, be really flamboyant with his efforts? And I think he probably could.
Yeah, he was never put under that much pressure in terms of responding to attacks, was he? Like Pogačar and Vingegaard rider.
There's a moment I thought he was on that climb to Manon. He looked like he was just rocking a bit in the saddle and pushing harder, but on outdoors he just looked cool as a cucumber.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
How about this one then? Could Armstrong have beaten Pogačar and Vingegaard?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. Yeah.
I think he might have just found an extra gear, mightn't he? Or perhaps just found more gear.
On his way to the nightclub?
Yes, exactly. Anyway, very interested to hear your thoughts on this. Which cyclists in history could beat our current crop of superheroes? And also, what do you think about the kind of power numbers that they're putting out at the moment?
Yeah, I have a feeling this is going to kick off in the comment section down below, so I'm looking forward to seeing the debate and get involved, everyone.
Absolutely. Right, now we're going to head over to Manon and we check in with her and see how her training's going ahead of the Steamboat gravel race. Her longest ever bike ride it'll be, not to mention the longest ever gravel ride and longest ever race.
No nightclubs involved.
Welcome back to another update on how my training is going for the Steamboat gravel race on the Wahoo System training plan. You've just caught me on my very last road ride of the week. I'm 2 hours into my ride now. I've done about 60k. I've gone out a little bit later today because it's been so hot, so it's about, I think, 8 o'clock now, so it's just starting to cool down and it's feeling a lot better. But the only problem with that is that I've swallowed about 50,000 flies. And they're all stuck to my arms because I've got sun cream on. But yeah, I've done about 60 kilometres, and that's all I can think is how much longer I would still have to do if I was in the race. So I'd have about, 150k still to go, which is absolutely crazy. But the training's been going good this week again. I've had one session that didn't go quite as well. It was an indoor session on the bike, and my body was just saying no. My head was saying no as well, which is not a good thing when you're on the indoor trainer. But I kind of knew that I wasn't going to get through the session, so I decided to do just an easy ride. And that's probably the first session I've had that hasn't gone well. So I've had a good run. But these things happen. So back on the road and enjoying my next block of training. And I'll be back with another update. Next week is going to be my last week of training, and then I'm going to have a week off because I'm going to be without a bike. So really going to push hard this next week, and I'll see you next week.
Thank you, Manon. We also had a tip for you last week, sent in by one of you in the comment section, actually. Mike Mike Wokner. Hey Manon, the race is in the USA, so suggest a mental shift and focus on 144 miles rather than 228 kilometers. A smaller number may help. Cheering for you from Northern Colorado, USA.
That's
So
a
there
good
you go.
point, but the miles do tick by slower.
They do, yeah. There is that. Smaller number, but when you've got like 10 miles to go and they just won't go
Takes a
down.
while. It does take a while.
Swings and roundabouts.
Yeah. Either way, time for cycling shorts now, and we'll start with this story picked up by Cycling Tips. Adrian Nioshuti, a Rwandan cyclist, he got to the top of Alpe d'Huez on a Quebecer bike. Now, these Quebecer bikes, they are brilliant, designed for practicality to be super robust, and they provide a valuable mode of transport for people who need to access vital medical services, education, and also work.
Yeah, genuinely life-changing bits of kit, aren't they? Apparently, Neil Schutte had always had the dream of riding to the top of the Alpe d'Huez since he discovered cycling at 16, having survived the Rwandan genocide, the horrors of it, in which he lost 6 of his brothers. You can't even imagine, can you? Now, in spite of that, he did go pro. He ended up representing Rwanda on his mountain bike at the Olympics in 2012 and again in Rio in 2016, but on a road bike this time.
Yeah, in 2017, Nioshuti retired, having never achieved his ambition of racing to the top of Alpe d'Huez in the Tour de France, but now he's done it. He's made it to the top. On a bike that weighs around 18 kilograms too. Those bikes designed for practicality, not speed.
Yeah, he beat Pogačar by hours as well, didn't he? So
Yeah.
fair play. Now, if you would like to donate to Quebecer, the charity he was raising money for with that prodigious feat, then we'll pop a link in the description beneath this video.
What about this, Si? Have you ever wanted a bike inspired by a Toyota Land Cruiser?
Honestly, no.
Well, now you can pick one up for $8,599 US.
Great. Oh, actually, hang on a minute. That does look quite cool, doesn't it? So it's been designed by John Watson of the Randomist. I've got to say, I'm a big fan of his and the site. And Mosaic, actually, who he's designed it with, and they've made it a very cool boutique US brand. So full marks for that, irrespective of the inspiration. I think, secondly, what I struggle with slightly is the fact that the Pros Closet, who are selling it, are calling it a gravel bike. Come on, guys. It's got 2.2-inch wide tyres, flat handlebars. Just call it what it is. A mountain bike.
It's not as if it's a dirty word.
No.
Not like bar end.
Whoa! We should probably bleep that,
Yeah.
shouldn't we? Yeah. Yeah. Right, Connor, moving on. Have you ever wanted a saddle made out of paper?
No.
Okay, that's a bit of a shame because they might become a thing, right?
Really?
Cycling Science on Twitter linked to a master's thesis paper from Johan Bessing from Linnaeus University in Sweden, okay? And in the 56 pages, if you flick through very quickly, they look very nice actually, so he's probably going to get top class marks for it. Basically, there's this new wonder material called paper shell, which is a natural fibre composite that apparently has performance very similar to an ordinary saddle, so one made out of metal or carbon fibre or plastic, and it will last as long and is as light, but at the end of its life, you just pop it on your compost heap.
That's mad, isn't it?
Yeah, away it goes.
I'll do my strawberries some good.
Yeah, I mean, there'd be that added element of something if it's been a saddle. For
Fruity
several years.
strawberries. Yes, special flavour.
Ooh.
Maybe we should move swiftly on.
I
from
think we
that.
should
Yeah, let's
move
move
swiftly
on.
on.
Let's
Yeah.
just forget that happened.
Fruity strawberries.
Yeah. Let's concentrate on the Tour de France Femme avec Zwift.
Yes.
It's coming up.
Oh, yes.
When the men finish in Paris and Champs-Élysées, the women will be starting 8 stages, finish on Super Planche de Belleville the following Sunday. It's going to be cracking, and we'll have it all on GCN Plus with pre and post-race shows too. I can't wait. I think it's going to be a fabulous race.
We get a month-long Tour de France this
Yeah.
year. How cool is that? You and Manon filmed a preview show, which
Yeah.
is already up on GCN Racing's YouTube channel, so do make sure you check that one out. And actually, Manon gets to go out to the Tour de France Femme avec Zwift, so she will be there as part of the live coverage as well, so make sure you support her over on that too. And whilst we're talking GCN Plus, by the way, the documentary this week is another of our super popular slow cycling films. So Jack Thurston, the author of the Slow Cycling series, has taken Alec Briggs out for a bike ride, the crit specialist and general kind of, well, super
Fast
cool
man,
guy,
yeah.
very fast, yeah, as was learning about cheese and medieval history
Oh, there you go.
of Canterbury. So yeah, I love it when cultures collide like that.
When's my invitation going to be for one of these series?
Well, honestly, mate, we
Am I
figured
too
that
sorry?
actually you're a bit too similar to Jack, and it would just end up being like, there wouldn't be any culture clash. It would just be like,
cheese. I need to go faster than I get an invite.
yeah, you basically,
Too slow, basically.
Just quickly, by the way, before we get to Hackle Bodge, Connor, you'll notice, is sporting this rather lovely t-shirt, inspired by the Tour de France, I think we can probably say. But it's sold out now, isn't it, on the GCN shop?
It is, yeah. I am sporting this t-shirt. I'm winning every single classification in the Tour as a result. Yellow, green, polka dots, white, young riders, not even young enough to win it, but I'm winning it. And enjoy my cheese at home.
Yeah.
Because I'm not allowed on cool documentaries.
No, you're not.
I'm too slow.
You are. Unfortunately, as we said, you guys can't buy this now, but there's all sorts of other super cool French-themed merchandise, clothing over on the GCN shop, so do make sure you check it out. There's still 1 or 2 bits of our official collaboration with the Tour de France on there as well, which you should totally get. That's like a piece of history there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or at least it feels like where I'm sat anyway.
It's a brilliant collaboration. I love all the hoodies and the t-shirts.
Yeah.
I haven't got loads of them at home. That's not why they're sold out. It's time for hack/bodge. Good at that side.
You are indeed, mate. Very smooth.
Backhand.
Right then, we're going to start with an absolute banger, right?
Okay.
So this was sent in by AD1, Garmin mount with USB charging.
Okay.
So he said he had this idea ages ago, finally got around to building it, modifying an existing mount to add a USB port to take advantage of the charging pins on the base of some Garmin head units. Which, like, that is cool. Although, the more I thought about it, the more I thought, well, what's the difference between having a cable going into your Garmin mount or into your Garmin?
I see what you're saying, Si, but I have had many moments bikepacking where I've been trying to charge my head unit on big epics, and you can't get the cable in when it's like on your bar. Sometimes just the way you have your setup going, you just can't get that angle, and you feel like you're breaking the cable. I know nothing about electronics, by the way.
No, well, I don't either, and I know what you mean. So when I've got my Wahoo on, it's at a jaunty angle when I'm charging it up. But you could just get a slightly longer mount, like an aftermarket mount, and then you wouldn't need a, because that's, if you use that all year round.
But then you'd have your mount really far out, and if you have bikepacking bags on, you can't. You can't.
Not that far out. Well, that's going to get mud in it and water, isn't it? You need a boot.
Electronics can stand up to that. I don't know anything about it. My experience of it revolves around touching electric fences when I was a kid.
I don't think electrics could survive UK riding conditions.
That is a good point.
So anyway,
Very skillful though to do.
I'm gonna say hack because I love it in principle, but I'm also kind of thinking, also you might have just created something that you might not have needed to create.
An unneeded hack.
Which is also called a bodge. Okay, right.
I'm going hack.
Yeah, well, 94% of you lot went for hack as well. So clearly, I'm either overthinking things or you lot have missed out here. But anyway, AD, that is cool, and I'm glad you made it.
Yeah, nice one.
Right, what's next, Connor?
Yeah, moving on to this one sent in by Ethan Boxer M. Tennis ball as basket supporter.
From high tech to low tech.
Yeah.
I think you could say.
My neighbour's front mounted basket was hanging crooked and kept bouncing into the head tube. Solution, lace the front brake cable through a tennis ball. Problem solved.
Now you see,
there you go.
This is a solution to a problem as opposed to a solution to a problem that doesn't exist. So actually,
it's a hack.
I'm tempted to go for a hack. In fact, I saw something on some Eurobike content about a handlebar bag that has basically that built into it. Not quite a tennis ball.
What happens if you want to play tennis?
Well, maybe you could have a cut in it and then you could just pull it off and then whoosh, wouldn't have quite the same kind of integrity.
Yeah,
but,
might still work.
Might still work. Yeah, so I'm going to say hack for that one.
You could bring another tennis ball.
Yeah. Unfortunately, only 55% of you lot thought that was a hack.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think hack.
There you
I think
go.
it's a good hack, yeah.
Nice.
It's a handy solution.
Okay. Now this next one is a bit like the first one, a solution to a problem I didn't really know existed, okay? So this is sent in by Endo Doc. Avoid crinkled casquette. So like a roadie cap, misery. Now my casquettes, I don't think have ever been crinkled. When you put it in a tumble dryer by mistake and the peak melts, now that is a disaster.
Oh, that's a disaster.
Anyway, I had to wash my beloved vintage cycling cap after a particularly sweaty ride. Hopefully you wash it after every ride. But anyway, drying on the line leaves it all creased. So while it's still wet, inflate a party balloon inside it, then hang it on the line, pop the balloon when it's dry, and hey presto, you're smart enough for even the most snobby bike cafe cake stuff.
That is commitment. I'm going to forward this to my mother-in-law. She's obsessed with getting creases out of clothes.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I as any long-time viewers of GCN will know, I can make anything creased, except for cycling caps. So, I don't know, maybe it's just my superpower.
The skill as well in getting this balloon inflated in the hat. I mean, if I tried to do that, for sure the hat would just pop off all the time.
Yeah. I mean, I love it, to be fair. I do love it, but no, I think that's a bodge. What do you think?
I'm going hack.
Oh my word. Well, 83% of you lot say hack as well, so you're in the majority there, Connor. Right then, who's next?
Next up, we have Dion George 16. That's a wrap. Steel frame basically split all the way around the down tube halfway through a ride. The loss of connection on the tubing caused the bottom half of the bike to wobble with each pedal stroke. To stabilise the frame, I used a spare inner tube like bandage wrapped around to keep the frame together and stable on the 30 kilometres back home.
Wow.
Oh, brave.
Fair play to you,
That
Dion.
is brave.
Very brave, but
It
needs
worked.
must. Yeah, that's super cool. I once witnessed a broken top tube on a titanium bike that was splintered with 2 sticks in an inner tube. And they got down the mountain that we were on. So it can be done. I like that.
I don't know if I'd be brave enough to do it myself or light.
What are you going to do? Walk?
That's that, yeah.
Yeah.
I would have gone very slow, I guess.
I think that's a roadside hack.
Oh, it's a definite hack. Yeah, I just don't know if I'd have been brave enough to employ the hack.
Well, that might be why 58% of you lot thought that was a bodge, because it does seem frankly terrifying.
sketchy.
But yeah, well done, Dion, for making it home. And then this one, which is the last one, 123 G Evans. So this is a removable bike rack in the back of a pickup truck. Apparently it's the second generation. The first design was heavy and hard to mount the bike on. I used an adjustable through axle clamp so I could mount any bike. This rack weighs 10 pounds, straps down with a ratchet strap, and I use a bungee cord to hold the rear tyre in the grooves on the truck bed. Took me 15 minutes and 44 seconds to build it. There you go.
That's pretty
$30
decent.
to make. Yeah, that is pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah, I like that. It saves having to worry about your bike getting thrown around in the back of the pickup and having to take loads of rugs and all that sort of stuff to keep it safe.
Yeah, I like it.
Whack
Although,
it in the rack.
have you had to tip your STI, your handlebars down?
Ooh.
To fit? I mean, there's nothing much you can do about that. Your bike's obviously just a bit too long for the bed of the
Yeah.
truck.
Do you reckon? Yeah, it's too long, isn't it? So it saves one problem, but it gives you another job to do.
And there's something really irritating about moving handlebars when you've got
Hate it.
4 bolts.
Hate it.
And then you've got to do it, and especially if they're Torx keys, which is literally the worst things on the planet.
And then I really overthink the position they're in afterwards, and it's never quite the same.
Never quite the same. And have you torqued them enough, or are they going to slip when you hit a pothole? Yeah.
It's a close hack. I
But
don't
no
know.
cigar, is it?
No cigar.
I'm really sorry.
sorry.
But I'm not sure there's much you can do about that. Thank you to all of you this week. It's one of the highlights of the week going
Yeah.
through hack or bodge.
Some
It's got to be
brilliant
said.
ones in there.
Yeah, 87% of you lot, by the way, said that last one was a hack. So it's just us
There you
picking
go.
holes
Just
in it
us, yeah.
again. Right.
Pedantic.
But yeah, thank you very much indeed for sending me in, and keep them coming over on the GCN app. All right, it's time now for Caption Competition, that part of the show where you get a chance to get your hands on a GCN Elite water bottle, currently in limited edition yellow, which you can buy over on shop.globalcyclingnetwork.com. You'd think I'd have that off pack by now, wouldn't you? But anyway, there we go. But you can win it if you put a witty caption in the comment section down below. We'll give you the photo in a minute, but of course, results time first. This was the photo last week. Connor?
Yeah, winner is Ben Holloway with this caption. Van Aert to Nielsen, I moustache how your new Crocs are going.
Yeah,
Brilliant. I see what you did
great
there.
stuff.
Love
yeah.
it.
Get in touch, Ben, and we will get your Elite water bottle out to you. Just in case you're wondering, by the way, we haven't done a Croc update for this
No, we haven't
week.
done a Croc update.
So I checked in. They seem to have sold out on Rafa. So you can buy them currently on eBay for about $200 or 180 quid for a pair of your Rafa Palace Crocs. But interestingly, if you go on the Palace website, you can buy them new for 58 quid. So all you chances on eBay, good luck. They're still available to buy.
Wonder if they do them in my size.
No, they didn't. They said they only went up to a size 18, but
I have to tie-dye some flip-flops.
go for that, mate. Right then, your caption photo for this week is this one of the Jumbo Visma squad on the rest day of the Tour de France. Okay, Connor,
I'm going to give it a go. Yeah, I'm going to give it a go. Hey, Mum. Yeah, things are getting tough here. I think I'm going to fake a COVID positive.
Oh.
Did I just say that?
Oh, ouchie.
Boy, you wanted to pull the emergency cord now. You're going to get grippy for Jumbo-Visma.
Yeah.
Things are getting tough.
What is it? If you have orange juice before you do a COVID test, that gives you a positive, apparently.
Really?
Yeah, apparently it's what all the kids were doing to get out of school.
No way, really?
Yeah, apparently. Never tried it myself.
I'll think of that when you next think up a mad idea for me to do a GCN video.
Yeah, there we go. Well, you can always fake a knee injury. That's the pro cyclist friend,
That's
isn't it?
true,
No
well,
one
yeah.
can ever say you haven't got a knee injury. Anyway, stick your witty caption in the comments section down below. Connor, that was a good one, mate.
Thanks, Si. Yeah,
Let you
cheers.
take that home for this
one.
week.
I'll put it on my pink Corbeya.
Oh, God. Just going to put that back on the shelf.
No, we look good on the pink Corbeya.
Well, I mean, it can't make it look any worse, can it? But yeah, anyway, moving on to what's coming up on the channel this week via this comment from Kay Harm, okay? They said, very kindly, they enjoyed the episode of the GCN show last week.
Oh, thank you.
But they have to admit they were constantly distracted by what was obviously an evil genius's work. The photo of Dan Lloyd with what appears to be a fluorescent river of tears on constant display over Connor's left shoulder, disturbing but fascinating.
Where's the fluorescent tears?
I don't know. Is it like a reflection? I mean, Lloyd is not crying. He looks very stern and possibly resigned to his fate.
He does look a bit glum.
I mean, I don't think he was loving life by that point of the Tour de France, having also done the Giro and the Dauphiné in the same year.
We'll research the fluorescent tears, though. Maybe there's something behind that.
Yeah, I mean, that would be a work of evil genius. Dan will be back soon from Tour de France duties, so you never know. Right then, coming up on the channel this week, on Wednesday, the biggest danger facing cyclists is probably not what you think. Okay, so do make sure you check that one out. It's also something that we can do something about, isn't it? So watch that one. And on Thursday, how to sprint like a pro, which neither of us were asked to.
I don't know why.
Weird, that, isn't it?
Yeah, don't know why that is.
Did you manage to outsprint Marcel Kittel on your bikepacking trip?
No.
Can we see a clip from that, by the way? If Connor trying.
I tried pretty hard.
I can see that thing. No, God! Yes, that's my moment!
It was close. It was a close one, and I asked him if he could just let me win one.
He did.
I think he tried to let me win, but it was going too easy for him.
Well, anyway, you probably would have won that one if all your bikepacking stuff hadn't fallen off the back.
I lost my croissant as well there.
Oh,
Picked it up after and ate it, so don't worry.
That's the reason to put out a Tour de France as well if you lose your croissant. Anyway, you only have to wait till Sunday to see the full video of that one. And then in the meantime, why do Tour de France teams have 100 pairs of wheels? Which is a valid question, isn't it?
I think they'd have had to bring more if I was on the team.
Really?
Yeah, but I'm not. Strong hands. You don't want to let me near the mechanic's truck.
Oh, I see what you mean. And then also on Saturday, we've got our commuter challenge. So what is the best bike to ride to work on? So yeah, a banging week of videos, I think.
Yeah, some great ones going.
Indeed. Right, Connor, I think that's it, mate.
Got through it. I'm going to go and work on my sprinting.
Got through it, he says. Hopefully you don't think the same as Connor. Whoa, we just got through the GCN show. Thank goodness for that. I'm going to go and enjoy the rest of my day.
I didn't mean to say that.
Just slipped out.
Can we do that bit again?
No, you said it now. Right. If you've enjoyed the GCN show, please give it a big thumbs up. Poor old Connor. See you next week.